And I will read the 5th poem. So let's just take a deep breath and just breathe in the Holy Spirit, the kiss of the bridegroom. And Lord, for this time, as short as it will be today, I ask you to just carry away all our distractions, all our worries and concerns, anything that keeps us from hearing your sweet voice and recognizing what it is that you are singing over us this morning. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, the 5th poem, the Bridegroom. You are beautiful as Tirzah, my love, fair as Jerusalem, terrible as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away, for they hold me captive. Your hair is like a flock of goats frisking down the slopes of Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep as they come up from the washing. Each one has its twin, not one unpaired with another. Your cheeks behind your veil are halves of pomegranate. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and countless maidens. But my dove is unique, mine, unique and perfect. She is the darling of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The maiden saw her and proclaimed her blessed. Queens and concubines sing her praises. The chorus. Who is this, arising like the dawn, fair as the moon, resplendent as the sun, terrible as an army with banners? The Bridegroom. I went down to the nut orchard to see what was sprouting in the valley, to see if the vines were budding and the pomegranate trees in flower. Before I knew, my desire had hurled me on the chariots of my people as their prince. The chorus. Return, return, O maid of Shalom. Return, return, that we may gaze on you. Why do you gaze on the maid of Shalom, dancing as though between 2 rows of dancers? The chorus. How beautiful are your feet in their sandals, O prince's daughter. The curve of your thighs is like the curve of a necklace, work of a master hand. Your navel is a bowl well rounded with no lack of wine. Your belly, a heap of wheat, surrounded with lilies. Your 2 breasts are 2 fawns, twins of a gazelle. Your neck is an ivory tower. Your eyes, the pools of Heshbon, by the gate of Bath-rabbim. Your nose, the tower of Lebanon, sentinel facing Damascus. Your head is held high like Carmel, and its plates are as dark as purple. A king is held captive in your tresses. The Bridegroom. How beautiful you are. How charming, my love, my delight. In stature like the palm tree. Its fruit clusters your breasts. I will climb the palm tree, I resolved. I will seize its clusters of dates. May your breast be clusters of grapes, your breath sweet scented as apples, your speaking superlative wine. The Bride. Wine flowing straight to my beloved, as it runs on the lips of those who sleep. I am my beloved's, and his desire is for me. Come, my beloved, let us go to the fields. We will spend the night in the villages, and in the morning we will go to the vineyards. We will see if the vines are budding, if their blossoms are opening, if the pomegranate trees are in flower. Then I shall give you the gift of my love. The mandrakes yield their fragrance. The rarest fruits are at our doors. The new, as well as the old, I have stored them for you, my beloved. Ah, why are you not, my brother, nursed at my mother's breast? Then, if I met you out of doors, I could kiss you without people thinking ill of me. I should lead you, I should take you into my mother's house, and you would teach me. I should give you spiced wine to drink, juice of my pomegranates. His left arm is under my head, and his right embraces me. The bridegroom. I charge you, daughters of Jerusalem, not to stir my love, nor rouse it until it please to awake. These are have become some of my favorite. I know I say that all the time, so it probably loses its meaning, but these are truly have become my favorite passage in the song now that I understand what is happening here. And so if we think for a minute about the journey that we've been on, the journey we've been following the bride on, and the journey that we want to be our own, right? So we talk in Brides 1 about how the Song of Songs and the cantata can be like our guidebook, our travel guide, as we journey on this pilgrimage through this fallen world, this land of exile, into our heavenly home, to where we really belong, when we will see the bridegroom face to face. And so if we look at the bride and how she has grown and changed as she has journeyed with the bridegroom. In the very beginning, she's asking, where do you rest your flock at noon? I know now that I need you, my divine bridegroom, nothing else. I've already tried. I've been wandering after the flocks of your companions, right? I've been wandering after false loves. I've been wandering after wolves in sheep's clothing. I've been grasping and clinging to things that cannot satisfy, things of this world. And I know now that you and you alone are the one whom my soul has been seeking, the one whom my soul loves, the one whom I was created to love and be loved by, to live in union with, not just in heaven, but starting now, here and now. This is what I was created for. And so I want to know where you rest your flock at noon. I want to come to you. And now, here we are, whatever time has passed. We don't know how long it took the bride to get from the first poem to the fifth poem. For some of us, maybe, like for Therese or an Elizabeth of the Trinity, it only takes 20 years. For some of us, it takes a whole lot longer. But the goal is this is the goal. This is where we want to get to. And we see now the bride has arrived, right? Listen to her words at the end of this poem. I lost my page, sorry. I don't have enough fingers. I want to focus really on verses 7-9 through 7-14. So the bride is saying, the bridegroom, may your breast be clusters of grapes, your breath sweet scented as apples, your speaking superlative wine. The bride now responds, wine flowing straight to my beloved, as it runs on the lips of those who sleep. I am my beloved's, and his desire is for me. No more doubt, no more confusion, no more wondering, does he love me as I love him? She knows now that his desire all along has been for her, that she would not be where she is if it wasn't because he had loved her first. That when he climbed the tree, the palm tree, and willingly gave up his life, keeping his eyes focused, like we spoke of last week, on the palm fronds of victory at the top of the tree, right? For the glory set before him, Jesus endured the shame of the cross. And she knows now, she has seen him give her life on the marriage bed of the cross for her. And she knows that it was his love and only love, his desire for her, that led him to give his life, to give the gift of himself for her. She knows now that his desire is for her. And notice that what the bridegroom says to her: your breath, sweet scented as apples, your speaking, superlative wine. The beginning of the song, the bride tells us that the bridegroom's love is better than wine, that the bridegroom is the apple tree under which she sits and tastes of its fruit. The bride has come into union with her bridegroom. Her love and desire for him has allowed him to transform her into another Christ. This is what God desires for each of us. This is why he allows crosses in our lives and suffering in our lives. He allows whatever has the potential to make us more and more in the likeness of Christ, that we may be Jesus to the world, that in every generation and every age, Jesus might walk on this earth in our flesh. And this is what has happened in the life of the bride now. And the bridegroom recognizes it. And he tells her, your breath is scented like my breath, because you have allowed me to kiss you with the kisses of my mouth, because you have chosen to be still in my shade and taste of my fruit that is sweet. So now when you speak, honey and milk are under your tongue. The scent of my breath comes forth from your mouth, because your words are my words. Your love is my love. And she responds with knowing. Wine flowing straight to my beloved as it runs on the lips of those who sleep. I sleep, but my heart is awake. Even in my sleep, my heart is his. Even in my sleep, we are breathing the same air of love back and forth. I don't even need to think about it anymore. I am his and he is mine, and his wine flows into me and out of me, as it would even when I was sleeping, with no effort, no worry, no striving, pure trust in him, that it's his desire. It is his desire for me that has transformed me into his likeness. And notice too, in the first poem, she's seeking him, doesn't even know where to find him. And now she says, we, over and over, we will go, we will see. And now I shall give you the gift of my love. And we might say, wait a minute, I thought she already gave him the gift of her love back in the summer of the wedding. And she did. And we do, right? Many of us for many years have been giving Jesus our love. But at this point, now the bride has been healed. The bride has been made whole. Everything that has obstructed the free, total, faithful, and fruitful giving of her love to him, he has made new. There are no more barriers. And now she can give him the total love, the completeness of her whole being, of all that she is, because of how he has healed her and made her new. not by her own doing, by her willingness to sit in his shade and let him love her. He has healed her. And all those obstacles are gone. So now she, like Mary at the Annunciation, can say, I am the handmaiden of the Lord. Let it be done unto me according to your word. Now I can give you the gift of my love, without fear, without hesitation, without reserve. I can give you the gift of my love, the rarest fruits that are ours, all of them, the old and the new, the past, the present, and the future. I give it all to you, my beloved. In your hands, it is all safe. My heart is safe. All of me is safe with you. And in your hands, all of me can be transformed into gift for others. The other thing that really stood out to me last night that I just want to make a couple comments about. On page 318. So this paragraph in the cantata, where Father Blaise is speaking about verse 710, wine flowing straight to my beloved as it runs on the lips of those who sleep. That this paragraph has this is probably my favorite paragraph in the whole cantata. It has so much deep meaning for me and the Lord in our relationship and in my healing. I invite you to spend some time with it too, and think about the sleep of love. But it was the line at the very end that really caught me yesterday. The beloved has nothing of her own anymore. She does not even belong to herself. She belongs to her beloved. She is his in a way that is impossible for any being to belong to another being. For there is in me something that is inalienable, that can be surrendered to no man on earth, no matter how bound he is to me. And as I was pondering these lines again yesterday, I just thought about all the roses. And I just thought about how, for so many of us, the idea of belonging to someone could be really scary. That we have given ourselves to people in the past, that we have given the gift of our love, and it has been rejected, violated, neglected, all the different ways that we have been wounded. And it seems to me that when we look at the bride and the journey that she's been on, she had to come to really know the bridegroom. She had to really have experiences with him. He had to prove himself to her, right? He knows that she's been so wounded by other lovers, that she can't surrender her whole self immediately. That would be foolish of her, right? She has good reason to hold back. And he knows that. The bridegroom knows that we have this fear of surrendering our whole heart to anyone. He knows our wounds. He knows the ways that we have been betrayed, the ways that our gift of love has been rejected. And so she had to go through everything she went through, the good times and the bad. It made me think again about the storm of summer where we started Brides 3. And she doesn't open to him, right? And she runs off back to those false loves, and she gets herself wounded again, and she can't find him. She looks in all the wrong places. And what happens when she does find him again? How does the bridegroom respond? How is his response to her not opening the door, to her wandering away from her? How is it so different from another fallen human person's response to us when we fail to do what they're asking of us? He looks at her and says, "How beautiful you are." And he welcomes her back with open arms. And we need to do this, it seems, in our lives over and over again with Jesus, to really come to the place where we can say, wow, he really isn't like any other man. He really isn't. He is trustworthy. He is safe. I can give him the gift of my love. My heart is safe in his hands. He's the only one who was willing to die for me, to give of his whole self. And now I know that, not just because someone told me or I read it in a book, but because I have lived with him. I have encountered him. I have experienced the depth of his love and his mercy. And so it is safe to belong to the bridegroom. But it's okay if you need more time, if you need more experiences. Just don't give up on him. Keep returning to him, because every time you will be greeted with mercy and love. And if you listen, you will hear him saying to you, "How beautiful you are, my love. Fair as Tirzah, comely as Jerusalem, as terrible as an army with banners. Because every time you fall and you return to me, you become stronger and stronger. Our love becomes stronger. And so you become as terrible as an army with banners. Just keep returning to me. My desire is for you." Page 319, Father Blaise makes the comment that here in the song, we see the reversal of what happened in Genesis. In Genesis, God had said that the woman would long for the man and the man would lord it over her, right? And here in the song, we see the bridegroom thirsting and desiring the bride. And it is the bride who has the power to not get up and open the door, or to get up and open the door. It's the bridegroom who knocks. It's the bridegroom who longs. And he says he uses the word that the song has turned what God had said upside down. And in the margin of my book, I wrote, well, maybe he turned it right side up. Because it was after the fall that God said the woman would long for the man and the man would lord it over her. Maybe before the fall, this is how it was meant to be. That the man would woo and pursue the woman, and the woman would have the power and autonomy over her own self, over her heart and her body, to be able to say yes or no to the bridegroom. And the bridegroom would respond with respect and love. I think the song gives us the picture of what God intended from the beginning. That the song turns that relationship that the song turns that relationship right side up. That the song gives us a beautiful picture of what it's meant to be, of what life and relationship in the eschaton will be. So yeah, I do really love just these few pages. I think there is so much, and that's just 317 to 319. There's a lot to ponder in there. A lot comes up every time I read it, more healing that needs to be done, more ways that I can see I don't yet fully belong to the bridegroom and desire to and need to, but not without his grace and his help, right? Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything?
I have one. And when I was coming back to healing, one thing that surprised me a lot was that the Lord never he never, when I came back to him and showed him my wounds and my sins and all that, he never I never received any reproach. I was used to be scolded and all that. So it was like, maybe it's not God. Maybe it's and never again, never again. I mean, there's no reproach. Beautiful.
Yeah, I remember actually saying that to Father Michael one time in confession when I was really in the depths of the healing and everything. And I said, I tell him what my sin is, how I've messed up again, and I wait for him to like correct me and yell at me, and he never does. Why won't he discipline me? He said, that's not God. That's not what he does. But I too was that's what I was used to. Yeah. And it, we see that in the song. Never a word of reproach, never a word of disappointment. Even after a fall, how beautiful you are.
I was contemplating before this lesson began how much I enjoy watching the bride grow, and ultimately, and then contemplating the fact that the bridegroom doesn't change. He remains the same, and his love just keeps pouring out. And what else? But that's what transforms her. That's what transforms her. And it's just such a beautiful thing to contemplate.
Yeah, that was part of my woundedness. I was waiting the first couple years. I was waiting for him to suddenly change on me. I mean, that's being married to a narcissist. It was all so good in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it was like a light switch flipped, and it was like he hated me. He went from adoring me to hating me, and I kept waiting, and I didn't know, I couldn't put that in and articulate it that way. But Father, as my spiritual director and confessor, he picked up on it. And I remember we were sitting in the Holy Land at the Sea of Galilee doing spiritual direction, and he goes, "Oh, I get it now." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "You think Jesus is a narcissist." You're waiting for him to suddenly change and say, "Get away from me." And I was like, oh my gosh, I just started crying. Like, I know up here he's not, but yes, my heart, just like we talked about, my heart was so afraid, And that was good. That was good insight, because then started healing all the ways. He had me start writing all the ways, reading scripture, all the ways to see that Jesus is nothing like a narcissist. He's not even anything like another human man. Dr. Bob Schutz has a great quote that I will try to find. I know I saved it on my phone years ago, but he has a great quote about how the bridegroom patiently waits as his bride heals. And it just, I've seen it, I've experienced it. That just like Tina said, and just like we see in the bride of the song and the bridegroom, he doesn't change. His love is constant. His response is always the same. How beautiful you are, right? And he knows. I mean, I think that's like it's just so amazing. He knows how long it's going to take us, and that's okay. He knows how far we're going to get. Not everyone gets to where the bride gets, and that's okay too. You know, he just wants us to follow the path he has laid out for us to become as holy as he desires for us to be, and to make it to the eternal wedding feast, just to let him help us get us there, to be happy with him forever.